Histosol is derived from the Greek word histos, which means a tissue. It occurs in extremely wet areas, meaning most of the soil are saturated year-round.
The environmental condition in which histosol occurs is usually in wet, cool and low-lying areas such as basins, deltas and areas with high precipitation. It can also be found in a variety of regions from areas of low temperatures to the tropical islands where soil remains saturated. It was developed during Miocene epoch.
The total extent of histosol in the world is estimated of 327 to 375 million per hectare. The majority was located in boreal, subarctic and low Arctic regions of northern hemisphere. Most of the remaining histosols occur in temperate lowlands in cold mountain areas. Only 1/10 of histosols are found in the tropics. Extensive areas of histosol occur in the United States, Canada, and Europe. In the Philippines, these are found in swamp, marshes, shallow lakes, and depressions. The saturated condition favors the accumulation of organic materials. Large areas are found in Leyte, Samar, and Surigao. Histosol is formed when organic matter forms at a faster rate than it is destroyed. Because of the limited drainage, aerobic decomposition is prevented and the remains of plants and animals persist in the soil. Histosols, like jellysols, are essential ecologically because they store enormous amounts of organic carbon. Coal is formed when buildup occurs for a long time.
Histosols is a kind of soils that are dominantly organic. They are mostly soils that are commonly called bogs, moors, or pits and banks. Are defined by a haustic horizon of at least 10 cm when overlying a rock and 40 cm on mineral soil material.
Histosols comprise only a small portion of the world's land area for about 1.2%, but are widely distributed irrespective of climate. They develop where the rates of organic matter accumulation exceed decomposition and removal. Most of these soils have formed under saturated conditions where the soil is saturated or nearly saturated with water most of the year.
Histosols are often referred to as pits or mucks. Histosols are soils that form in decaying organic matter. This can be found in low wet places like the bogs shown or the marshes below. Organic matter accumulates below the water table and decomposes more slowly than it accumulates. Histosols also contains at least 20 to 30% of organic matter by weight. Here are the definitions of term. Pit. It is the name given to slightly decomposed organic material in soil. Muck is used for rotten, highly decomposed material, or muck is often black in color and slimy to the touch. Morphological characteristics of histosol. Most histosols are H or HCR profiles, transformation of plant remains through biochemical disintegration and formation of humic substances. It also creates a surface layer of mold. Next, we also have the hydrological characteristics of histosols. The central areas of virgin topogenous pit bodies and of umbrogenous formations in lowlands are nearly always saturated with near stagnant water. The fringe areas of extensive raised bogs have a less monotonous water regime, with drier areas near natural depressions due to gravity drainage of the immediate surroundings. The opposite seems. Physical characteristics of histosol. Fibrous histosols are loosely packed in their natural shade with a bulk density that is typically between 0.05 and 0.15 mg per cubic meter. Surface layers of homogeneous forest pit contain more mineral ash than the subsurface layers and are slightly denser. The wide variation in the physical characteristics of histosol is matched by an equally wide variation in chemical soil conditions. Chemically rich eutrophic loam-moor pit may have a field pH over 6, whereas rain-dependent raised bogs are poor in plant nutrients, and the field pH values that are typically between 3 and 5.5. As it was mentioned from the earlier slides, Histosols contains 20 to 30% organic material, and it is classified by its characteristics: the physical, morphological, chemical, and hydrological characteristics. Also, the very central concept of histosols is that they are dominantly organic, and they are mostly called bogs, the moors, the pits, and the mucks. And one thing that a soil is classified as histosol if it does not have permafrost and is dominated by organic soil materials.
Now that we know what is histosol and its characteristics and development, we will now tackle about the 5 suborders of histosol, which are the wasist, the fallist, the fibrist, the saprist, and the hemist. So, in addition, there are different types of organic materials, includes fibric, hemic, and supric soil materials. Fibric soil materials are organic soil materials that contains 3 to 4 or more plant fiber materials after rubbing. Supric soil are organic soil materials that contain less than 1 to 6 plant fiber materials by volume after rubbing. They also felt greasy, while hemic soil materials are in between fibric and supric. In general, fallists are histosols that are saturated with water for a long period of time during the year, but well drained, while wasists are submerged for more than 24 hours every day. Fibrists are the primarily made of only slightly decomposed organic materials that are often called peat, while saprists are primarily made up of highly decomposed organic materials that are often called muck. And lastly are the hemists, which are primarily made of moderately decomposed organic materials. Now, here are the example pictures of subsoil order: the fallist, saprist, and fibrist.
Histosols perform number of environmental and ecological functions such as wildlife habitat, floodwater control, water purification, and more. Since histosols occurs in a wetland environment or area, this soil order, it can be used as agricultural resources, and since it accumulated tissue of decomposed materials from plants and animals that is preserved, the soil organic material is high. It can be used as agricultural resources for agricultural purposes, but it requires extensive drainage. For example, in Japan, it used to grow over 70,000 hectare of rice on a petland areas. Ganun din sa United States and other countries, there is an extensive growth of vegetables. It also used as energy resources. For example, in Northern Europe, it used as fuel. Other thing po, pwede din siya sa horticulture. Ginagamit po siya sa mga potting purposes para po ma-retain siguro yung freshness ng flowers. And also, pwede din po siyang fertilizer sa mga halaman natin. Ilan lang po yan sa mga use and management po ng histosols. Sana po ay marami kayong natutunan at maraming salamat.